Hi, I'm Ron B. from Philly, and I got something to say about what it's like to be a foster parent in Philadelphia. Hi, I'm Ron B., and I got something to say about what it's like to be a foster parent in Philadelphia. Over 5,000 children and youth are in the foster care system at any given time in Philadelphia. The city pays between $20 and $30 a day for foster parents to take care of those kids. And most kids are in foster care between 2 weeks and 2 years. Those statistics come from the City of Philadelphia website, Becoming a Foster Parent. But let me tell you about my personal experience with it. It started 16 years ago. My wife and her mother were out, and they were on Broad Street, and they stopped to get gas. And while they was getting gas, they saw a girl pregnant picking food out of the trash can. Now, my wife's family have been in foster care for many years, have dealt with foster care for many years. They have been foster parents, had kids in their under their guidance. So my wife knew a lot about that situation, whereas I didn't know that much about it. I've heard of it, but I didn't know anybody in it, and I didn't live through it. So my wife asked me what would I think about seeing about becoming a foster parent. We had small children at the time, so we were being parents every day. So I'm a good Christian guy. I didn't have any problems with it. So we became foster parents. And we had all types of children within that time period. When we first started, we started with mother babies because that was what my wife had saw in the at the gas station, and that was what pulled at our heartstrings. But they became problematic. So then we moved to just girls because my daughter was in her preteens to teens, early teens, and so we got a kid around her age, got kids around her age, and that was problematic. So then we when she got older, then we got young boys that were around my son's age. Now my daughter and son are about 6 years apart. So we always got kids around our kids' ages, and we had our ups and downs. Some kids went home, some kids didn't. Some kids left happy, some kids didn't. But one thing that we did, and I am still a foster parent to this day. We continue to try to not take one situation and make it all of the kids. Also, we were with quite a few different agencies, be it some of them going out of business, or we changed agencies because we didn't, like the practices or procedures. So, we kind of went through the whole full gamut of foster care. Well, let me just get to some of the point of me wanting to talk about it. Being a parent is very different from being a foster parent. As a parent, you have all the responsibilities of your child. You have all the rights. You have all the say so. You now rules and laws apply to you just like they do to anybody else. But for the most part, the law stays away from you as long as you're not doing anything illegal. But being a foster parent is a different issue. Being a foster parent is like being an employee, but you're a parent. Being a foster parent is like working a job, but you don't go home. You work 24 hours a day. And some things that people, even though they talk about this when you first sign up and try to say, is the kids on the line? Is the kids? Yeah, they are, but they don't know what to expect. And then you put them in your work experience too. They're at your job. Your kids got to live through the same thing. And the other part about it is that decision making is not yours. It's you. Even if the parent gives up their parental rights, decision making is up to the Department of Human Services and mainly your agency, whatever agency you're with, the rules that go along with your agency. So you always are not only telling people what you're doing in your house, being inspected, and then they give you rules, then you got rules, and whose rules are over whose. It is a job. It is a very, it's not an easy thing. It's not just being a parent. And it's not just a money grab. It's a lot of work that goes along with this paperwork. Keeping up with kids' records, keeping up with your own records, keeping up with your biological kids' records when it comes in contact with the other kids. You know, there's a lot of work that goes along with it. But the thing about your job, maybe, unless you're working for yourself or you're a painter or a craftsman or some type of creative, when you go home, your job stops. You go home, you relax with your family, or you deal with whatever is at the house. Here, you got your work at your home. There's things that I like about being a foster parent, or like, that I did like mainly when we got involved earlier, and, maybe not as much now, but still, is helping someone, who needs help. There's, like I said, 5,000 kids, over 5,000 kids, and that's kids and young adults. We also changed our profile from kids to young adults to teens as our kids grew. And, teens have it really hard because if you've been in the system for those years, your whole life, going from house to house every couple of years, eventually you get older. Either you go home, you get adopted, or you bounce until at the end when you age out. So, helping someone was one of the good things about it. At one point, we thought that it would give our kids people to play with and to grow up with, but that kind of doesn't work the same way as you thought again. Think of foster kids as like when you go to work. When you go to work, you think the people at work are your friends. Eventually, you might make friends at work. A person you meet at work might become one of your best friends. But everybody at work ain't your friend. But you see them every day. You have to be nice to them. You have to be cordial. You have to talk to them. You have to communicate. You argue. You this and that with your coworkers. But you go home. In this situation, your coworker goes upstairs to a room in your house, and you gotta still see him again later. Well, now let me not forget the pay. All right, everybody think that this pay thing is such the golden goose that oh wow, they a foster parent. They just take the money and them kids don't get this, them kids don't get that. Well, guess what? Those kids are pretty savvy. They know all about the system, especially when you get them at the ages that we were getting them. As we got them older, they had been in the system before, and they had expectations. They had things that they want that they weren't getting from their old house, but they knew that the system, quote unquote, was paying for this free ride. So you got to give me this, or I got to get that. Now, one thing that they do get automatically is an allowance. Whether or not people give it to them or not, I don't know. But we've given kids their allowance the whole 16 years I've been doing it. And they get allowance for nothing. They just get it because the government sends it. So if you're smart, you give it to them, write it down on the paperwork, and yada, yada. But they know, a lot of them know what it is going on with that. So don't think that they don't put you through their little thing because they think you, but what they fail to realize is that money is room and board. That money is 24 hours a day care. That money, those kids in your house use up resources. They don't just come in and don't use water, gas, electricity, want to eat, need clothes, need supplies, want to do extra things and all of that. So if you're a parent and you're not making your other kids suffer, and the state is providing certain monies to help take care of the situation, of course, if you're smart, you're passing it along and making sure that so that money ain't just going in no bank account, piling up where I'm independently wealthy. One day I'm going to take y'all on a tour of Ron B's house in Philly, and you'll see I'm not independently wealthy. I'm a normal guy, just like y'all. A lot of y'all know me. I hope some of y'all get to know me, but I'm just a normal dude. 52 years old. So, trust me, the pay ain't the deal. It ain't worth it. It's no job you work. If I take the hours and put them in, I used to work for the union. I know how to count hours. If I take my hours and put them in the way 24 hours a day, having to work 24 hours a day, who does that? Whose job is 24 hours a day? So getting into the things that I don't like. All right, that's Cheron B in the background.
Okay.
All right, let's start with the system. The system, the kids don't come first in the system. The kids are the reason for the system, but they don't come first. The kids are the commodity. They are just, if we were milk farmers, they would be the cows. You know? Yeah, you got to take care of the cows so you can get the milk and the beef. But you ain't loving no cows. That's just part of what you do. And that's how people treat this. Now, there's a lot of good people in the system. A lot of people that's doing this the right way. A lot of people that's trying their best. But there's a lot of people who aren't. A lot of people who just paycheck players. A lot of people who, as long as there's no problem, they don't care. They don't check on the kids. They don't give us resources. They don't help us figure out situations. They swoop in, give us directions, tell us how it's going to be, and then swoop back out. And as long as we ain't calling them for nothing, everything is cool. Get your money and be happy. That's bullshit. Excuse my language. Theft and damages. I would have to tell you my wedding ring has been stolen 3 times. As you see, I don't have one because I just get tired of buying new wedding rings and they go disappearing. My wife's has been stolen twice. My kids' stuff have been stolen. Money, keepsakes,
bikes,
all kinds of things. Anything you can imagine has been stolen. Damages, broken televisions, broken video games, broken
walls.
beds, broken walls, broken anything that you can think of breaking has been broken in my house. And as I said, if it was just my two kids, then I wouldn't be complaining. That would be my fault. But, I'm trying to help somebody out, giving them a better way of life, a better place to live, and they bring them in here. Now, I know because I've been trained. I'm a professional. I've done this for 16 years. I know these kids have problems. I know they have difficulties. I know it's not all their fault. I know. But how do you change people if you don't make them try to change? But you coddle them and you pat them down and make them think that the whole world is going to give them everything because they got a bad situation. That's not how it works. And on top of that, look, I got other kids in the house, mine, and I got them. And it becomes two sets of rules. And that's not how, I thought y'all want them in my house so that they can learn to be well-adjusted, well-managed children or teens or adults or whatever. But no, you want them to have a rules, and then my kids, or if my kids are doing well, they got to suffer because they're doing well and the other kids aren't. They make it feel like, just because they're good and I give them rewards, but then I'm supposed to reward bad behavior. That's the system. The system is not trying to actually let us parent. We're warehousing. We're babysitting. We're 3 hots in a cot. Might as well be a prison. And, the last part I'll say, last thing about the don'ts is the unreliability. All right, you can't think that this is how I make my money. Why? How could I do that? I can't know if a kid's going to be in my house for 2 weeks or 2 years. I don't know how long these kids are going to last. I don't know if this kid I got now tomorrow going to walk out of here and just go. I don't know if he's going to do something where I'm going to have to get rid of him. I don't know if the parents change their mind tomorrow and decide they want them back and they do all these little things and then they get them back. And trust me, I ain't in it for the money like that. But don't think that I would be holding kids back or, oh man, I got to hurry up and get another kid because this one's about to leave. Or no. Why? Because again, I don't want to work 24 hours a day. I would maybe like to have a break. Now, once you commit to a child, you got to see that child all the way through to the end. Now, I have a child now that has been here for a couple years, and, his ending ain't looking too bright right now, but the point is, I'm committed to him, no matter what I want to do, no matter if I don't want to do it or not. It's like being a parent. Once you have a child, you are responsible for that child. If you're doing it right, my wife believes that people believe that this is Anton Fisher, the movie Anton Fisher. This is like a known thing that us foster parents are the worst people on the earth, that we are so bad, money hungry, grubby, don't get kids, this, that. We are regulated. And yeah, some people go under the wire. Things have happened in Philadelphia. This ain't, people have died in foster care. But most of the time, that's the system's problem. Because they're not doing their job. We're still here. If a kid come in my house, you brought him here. So, until he leaves the system, you should be checking on him every week, other week, month, I don't know, whatever the case may be. So if anything happens, it's only happening because people ain't doing what they're supposed to do.
Hey, Dad. So, what would you advise new people that is inquiring about being foster parents or young couples thinking about being foster parents? What tips or advice would you give them?
Well, would I recommend that people do this? It depends. Depends much on your patience. Patience is the most important thing you gotta have to be a good foster parent. Because all of those things that I said, I still every day do it. And I'm still gonna take care of that boy and make sure that his life is good as much as I can make it. And I'm still gonna follow the rules, do the paperwork, do whatever has to be done. And because I'm a better person than that. And it's not his fault that this is like this, but patience is the biggest key. If you're patient, if you have the patience to do it. Now, the second thing I would say is if you have kids, do not automatically assume that they're on board with this. No matter what you ask them or how you ask them or whatever, they're not the parent. You are. And when you make a decision for the household and you think that they're just going to adapt or look as like I said, we never would have thought that some of the things that happened to our children would have happened to them. And I'm not saying any of them were abused or anything. I'm just talking about the collateral damage that comes with having a stranger in your house. Don't automatically assume that they're going to be able to just, take it, because it could cause more damage than you think. You could be creating a problem that you didn't have before with your own children because of this situation. But as I said before, it's 5,000 kids or more. It's people need, they're needed. They're needed, but I think the system needs to change. And I think that they need to come up with a better system than this. This could be a system, a part of it, but they need another thing because this is not the answer. It's not the answer for the kids. It's not the answer for the parents who get their kids taken from them. It's not the answer for us on the other end who are doing the work of trying to, help. It's just, a flawed system. So I can't automatically give it a thumbs up, but I can say that, it can be done, and there's a lot of people who do a great job of doing it. I know them for a fact. But it's a lot of people who learn the hard way that this is not easy. Well, I'm Ron B from Philly, and I try to talk about what I know about. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Thank you.